Hello, everyone. I am Lillie Mae, the creator of the Glambitious brand, and welcome to the 2026 Women to Watch virtual panel series. I'll be bringing some dynamic women for a roundtable style discussion about entrepreneurship, what's next, a little encouragement and inspiration, so that we can all make sure the next year is our best year. So I'm going to start by allowing everyone to introduce themselves. And if this is your first time tuning in, please make sure you subscribe to the Glambitious YouTube channel. Definitely subscribe because I have some exciting content that's going to come out here soon. It'll be inspirational, it'll be funny, it'll be entertaining, all the things. So make sure you subscribe. And if you're interested in joining us as a speaker in Martha's Vineyard next fall, visit theglamceo.com to be a panelist, a speaker, or to just join us. It's going to be a fabulous experience. So without further ado, I'm going to allow Samantha, then Dr. Shakika, and then Teresa to introduce themselves in that order.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Samantha Deloche, your modeling pharmacist. I am a model pharmacist and recently founded the Model Speakers Academy, where I encourage individuals to share their voice, own their story, and speak with confidence. I am also the recent author of Speak in Color, Color and Book, which is for children through adults. Again, it introduces my model framework for motivating, organizing, delivering, engaging, and leading. And I also have a 2026 Own Your Voice calendar, who I get to thank Lillie Mae for helping me create. And I'll be using that calendar in a brunch I'm having January 24th, 2026, Own Your Voice brunch. So with every brunch ticket, they will get a calendar. So I'm really excited to be here. I am ready to have greater in 2026. And I hope I can inspire you to have greater as well. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Shakika Williams, known affectionately as Dr. Kiki, the MP, your aesthetic and wellness bestie. I am a double-boarded nurse practitioner as family and psych mental health. I am the owner and founder of Sky Rose Rejuvenation Clinic and Spa, as well as Sky Rose RCS Medical Aesthetics Academy. So I am a national aesthetic trainer, mentor, and educator. I have trained close to 5,000 providers to date. Currently working with 16 right now to open and launch their own medical spas across the nation. I have a 90-day program that is online that they are able to basically follow me for the next 90 days to open their spa. I train individually for those who just want the skills. And then I still practice every day in my spa as well, offering those aesthetic services. A mom of 3, newly founded Gigi. He's 1 year old. So walking in that spotlight right now as well. Looking forward to 2026. So many things have been going on these last 2 months, just prepping for 2026. And so I can't wait to share and just inspire, as she's mentioned, inspire other people as well to kind of walk this journey.
Very good. Hello, everyone. My name is Teresa Sawyer. I am your event therapist. I am a certified mental health therapist based here in Atlanta, Georgia, but I'm also an event producer. So this is where we get event therapy, right? And so what we do is we address mental health in the events and entertainment industry, ensuring that we have the tools and the strategies to not just support our clients and ensuring they are beautified for their events, but that they feel good while doing it as well. I'm also the founder of Charge Up Campaign. Everything for me is really rooted in mental health. So what we do is we focus on the mental health of those who are going through cancer, have been through cancer, and or their caregivers as well. I consider our caregivers our silent warriors, and those individuals do need to be supported through our mental health initiative. That initiative brings in mental health providers such as our counselors to provide those services to those who are going through cancer, as well as, again, as their caregivers. I am, what else? Here in Atlanta, Georgia, just having fun. Not really, but yes, I am. It is cold outside here. And one of the things that I love to do is really get on calls like this so that we can really talk about how we can, work with each other, network. I love to network. I speak on various platforms about mental health in the events industry. And I just make sure that we are finding ways that we can transition from what I sometimes call the ugly duckling stage into that brown swan, hence of me calling myself the brown swan.
Yes, brown swan. Okay. So if you're tuned in right now, I encourage you to share this out because we're going to get into some really good dialogue that's going to encourage you, inspire you, and really spark you to be excited about 2026. So I definitely encourage, if you're watching live or catching the replay, make sure you share this with 3 friends, okay? Because I promise you we're going to talk about something that they need to hear. One thing that me and Teresa were talking about, I don't know, maybe a week ago, we talk a lot, and we were talking about me specifically and how low key I've had this internal belief that my best days are behind me, that my best days in business were behind me when I lived in Atlanta, and I was on the scene with a pocket full of green. Okay. Those were some fun times. And so sometimes I feel like the best days are behind me because I've since relocated to Raleigh, North Carolina, and it's not so much of the lights, camera, action lifestyle that I was accustomed to there. And so sometimes I can get a little, like discouraged, like, man, those were my high days, right? But Teresa has done a great job of talking me out of that. Like, no, honey, the best days are ahead. You are her still. You can still go get it. Doesn't matter where you're located. And so I want to ask each of you, and you can, do it popcorn style. What's an internal belief that you had to let go of to grow your next level in business?
I'll jump on and say that I have to do it by myself, or that it's just me, and that is so not true. There are so many people that can support you along the way. It may not be physically, like physical hands to doing the rental items or whatever it is, but there are people like Lillie, like Samantha, that's like all of you, who can, talk us through things. You don't have to do it alone. And that's something I think, as strong, independent women, we think that, hey, it's our idea. No one can do it like us, but nobody's asking them to do it just like you. We just need them to help you do it. That's it. So for me is stop trying to make it all happen by yourself, because what you're doing is really driving a wedge between you and the vision. Like, that's what's happening.
And then I'll chime in with that. A belief that I had to let go was I needed to shrink myself to make other people comfortable. For years, I played small because I didn't want to be seen as too much, too ambitious, or too confident. But the moment that I realized that God did not give me a small assignment, that he actually gave me a calling, is when everything changed for me. I stopped dimming my light and I started operating in my authority as the woman, the mother, and the CEO that I am. And letting go of that belief allowed me to step boldly into rooms, charge my rate, because no one will be able to pay my worth, but definitely they will pay the rate, and to build the businesses and programs that I am now using to transform other people's lives.
Wow. Excellent, both of you ladies. And I'd like to add that I had to release the belief that I need to have it all figured out before I took the first step. For years, I played it safe as well because I didn't want to make a mistake or move from everything or deal with things before they were perfect. But growth doesn't happen in perfection. Growth happens in motion. So once I learned to trust my preparation, trust my gifts, and trust my God-given calling on my life, everything began to shift. So I had to let go of perfection, and it allowed me to show up fully and embrace the opportunities that were already waiting for me.
I could definitely relate to everything that you all have talked about. For sure, when it comes to what Teresa said, like doing everything alone, that is one of my challenges because I am a perfectionist and it's so hard for me to let go of the reins on my business. But for those of you who do desire to scale, the only way that you can scale to $1 million, $2 million, $3 million evaluation is to have a team, and is to learn to trust people, and is to have the patience to work with people. Because like Teresa said, they're not going to do it exactly like you. They may mess up, but you have to have the patience to work with people in building a team. Then, like Dr. Williams said, you have to be willing to charge your rate and not be scared about that. That's something me and Teresa talk about a lot as well. Me being fearful of charging what I feel like the services are truly worth based on what I think people want to spend or have to spend or feel like it's worth, And so that's a challenge. And again, when we're talking about scaling in 2026, you have to charge the value and the rate that you think those services are worth. Because guess what? People are paying $1,500 to see Chris Brown and get a picture with Chris Brown. And that picture can't make them no money. I mean, people are spending $1,000 on hair weaves. Like, I mean, let's talk about it. Okay. People spend on what they want to spend on. And so it's up to us to decide, hey, this is what it's worth. And this is what, I'm going to charge. There are people who get paid $20,000 to speak for 1 hour. And then you're scared to charge $500. Like, we have to do better if we're going to scale. We have to really believe that God has called us to greater, and then have the faith to, walk into it and to fully show up as it and to charge. So you all had some really, really good statements. Did anyone else want to pop back in? Because I know I might have stirred you up a little.
Listen, I'm over here shaking because listen, first of all, when it comes to, I love what you said that, they can never pay me my value, but they will pay my rate. That hit home just now, especially like Lillie, like you were saying in all those conversations, because oftentimes we're trying to, okay, how much would I pay? It's not about how much you will pay. This is how much is the service. And so oftentimes I think we are trying to check our own pockets when we are charging our clients, and our pockets have nothing to do with it. And it's because we know what our value is, and they cannot pay your value. They can pay your rate, but not your value. So I love what you just said there. Yes, honey. Let me get it together.
I like what you said, Lillie Mae, about people are paying big money for things that they want. And so we got to stop being afraid to charge our worth. If we're going to make our businesses grow, then we're going to have to charge what's necessary, and be okay with people, not being able to provide or receive your service. Let them know I have other lower tier items that you can benefit from. In the meantime, I do, other free posts, or I give information to, my community. But if you want to work one-on-one with me, this is what it is. And then also, I've been used to giving out information for free. People drop in my inbox because I'm a pharmacist, so they'll ask me medical questions, and I'm like, I'm providing you medical advice. And then when I do have something, you can't even spend $20 in my direction. So I had to scale back. Like, maybe you should call your doctor, or maybe you should, because you're going to pay them for that advice. So, and even with my, speaker academy, people like to, because I model as well, they would like for me to give them, referrals for makeup artists, referrals for photographers, and, things of that nature. And I don't mind sharing a little bit, but you're not going to keep coming to me to get information and not, compensate me on some level, because I'm making it easy for you. I've already been on that road. I've already worked with these people, so I can make it easier, and using my name might even get you a discount. So I have to, realize my worth in situations and stop giving things out for free.
And just to piggyback off that a little bit, is more of a saying that I always tell my students and my mentees, your price is your price at the end of the day. And if they can't afford it, that's fine. But I'm never price shopping with anyone else, and I'm not competing on price with anyone else. And so I always tell them, your price is your price, and the price today is not going to be the price tomorrow, unfortunately. So it is what it is.
Very true. And one thing, Dr. Samantha, so first of all, I'm guilty of texting Dr. Samantha hey, my head feeling a certain kind of way. What do I take? So that she might have talking. I mean, I'm just
no, I wasn't. You're good. Good friends.
But no, one thing that you did make me think of, Dr. Samantha, when you said that, people reach out to you for referrals, for, hair, makeup, things like that. It got me to thinking sometimes we need to build what people are looking for. So if someone is always, if people are asking you, hey, can you point me this direction? Maybe create a program where you are a resource for photo shoots, because you do photo shoots you crank those photo shoots out, right? She has a fabulous photo shoot released every 2 days. I'm like, ooh, I want to be like Dr. Samantha when I grow up. Every 2 days, it's a fabulous photo shoot coming out. And this is not AI. She books real photo shoots, okay? And so everybody can't do that so seamlessly. So they need the referrals that you have to the photographers, to the studio, to the stylist, to the makeup. And maybe when, you could create something that's oh yeah, sure. Click here for my such and such package where I refer you to my glam team, to my photographer. So sometimes we have to build what people are coming to us for. And I will say that's one way that I've been able to last in entrepreneurship for over a decade, is doing that. When people reach out to me for something and I haven't created it yet, I create it then. Oh, you need this? Sure. I create, in about 10 minutes, I'm going to create it and send you the link so that you can go ahead and make the investment, and I can help you with that. So that really got me to thinking when you said people are reaching out to you to stuff. sometimes that's kind of a clue for us, like, oh, people need this. And here's another thing. Sometimes the things that come easy for us, we forget it doesn't come easy to everyone else. So like I said, Dr. Samantha does a photo shoot like it's nothing, but someone else will have a headache trying to find the right photographer, trying to pick out the clothes that look good, trying to find the makeup artist that doesn't, make them look too opaque. That might be a headache where for you it's easy. So I want everyone that's viewing to think about like what comes easy to you and put a price tag on it. Okay. So next question. How did you position your brand so that people began to see you as an expert and not just another entrepreneur?
I can start with this one. I position my brand by choosing clarity over confusion and consistency over chaos for once. I stopped trying to be everything to everybody, and instead I became that go-to solution for a specific problem. So helping the Inspire injectors and the Med Spa CEOs grow with confidence, competence, and compliance. So I showed up with value pretty much every day through teaching, educating, demonstrating expertise long before I start selling anything. And then I made my knowledge visible. My results became measurable and my message unforgettable. And so I started basically showing up more in the rooms and on the stages where my community needed me to be. And that's when people stopped seeing me as just another entrepreneur and began recognizing that I was the trusted expert in that industry.
Well, I leaned into my lane and stopped trying to blend in. I've been a pharmacist for over 16 years, but I also model, speak, coach, and build programs that transform people's confidence. When I finally embraced the uniqueness of being the modeling pharmacist and created the Model Speakers Academy, people began to understand what made my voice different. I positioned myself through consistency, through storytelling, and through results. People recognize expertise when you show up with clarity, credibility, and a brand that speaks before you even enter the room.
That's good. I think for me, one of the things is I took, I'm going to, I started out as a therapist or in the mental health industry, but my skill, my talent is in event production and producing. And so I wanted to make sure that I was there, I was able to still produce events, but also support people at the same time. And so what people were coming to me was, hey, I feel like this when I produce this event. I feel like that. And so that's how event therapy came along for me to be able to blend these two things. Both things I'm passionate about. And so I showed up as the expert as, in the mental health field, but also I'm good at what I do when it comes to producing and designing. Therefore, they knew to come to me for that, but then they also knew to come to me for this too. And so I put it together. And so one of the things that I started to do is I built a magazine during the pandemic, so Event Therapy Magazine. And I wanted to make sure that I positioned the magazine in a way that it was not just a typical wedding magazine. I use magazine because that's the beautiful word to use, but it's more of a content-based resource. And so I'm showing up in a way of saying, hey, listen, you may not want to contact a therapist, but you might be able to read this story from other planners who are going through something that can then support you in a way. And so again, me showing up in a different way because what we do over here is very sensitive when you're talking about someone's mental health. And so finding a way to show up where people can still, receive what they needed to receive, but also know who I am. And that has led me to speaking engagements all over the US, virtually and in person, Paris. People, I've done like 4 different speaking engagements for a company in Paris because all they did was type in events and mental health. And they found me. And so just making sure that I'm putting these two things together. And, that's pretty much how I'm showing up. And also rooms like this, just having conversations and people, you never know who knows who can then come to you and say, hey, I need your work. I need your support.
Absolutely, absolutely. And speaking of the speaking engagements, because you've done a ton of those over the past few years, as have all of you actually. My next question, I'm gonna touch on it myself, is what's a lesson you learned the hard way that others can avoid by hearing it today? And for me, one of the lessons I had to learn the hard way was because I love speaking. I'm a chatty patty. I love being booked to speak. I would say that might be my favorite element of my business, is being paid to speak on different stages. But one lesson that I learned the hard way was how important it is when you're on a stage to have some type of call to action that brings people into your funnel, that brings people into your ecosystem. And so 2024, oh my gosh, I had the most speaking engagements ever, but I did not have a proper lead magnet. So I was just leaving money on the table and leaving people on the table because I was so excited that they booked me to speak, that I just really focused on, okay, I'm going to be the best speaker they ever did see. But I left just a minor, but so major, important detail is, hey, you need to have some type of call to action for the people, a lead magnet, some way they can get into your email list. So this isn't the first and last time they see you, and you can potentially, get clients from the audience. So that was a lesson I had to learn the hard way. Any of you want to share lessons you had to learn the hard way?
Well, the hard lesson for me was believing that loyalty would protect me. I stayed in spaces where my value was known but not honored, thinking my dedication would shield me. What I learned is this: professionalism doesn't mean tolerating disrespect, and growth requires you to release environments that mishandle you. Don't silence your brilliance to make others comfortable. When people show you they don't value your gifts, take your gifts somewhere they will.
I absolutely love that. For me is, you're not the same. You are not the same. You don't have to get on these stages and think that you have to speak like this person, speak like that person. I'm an educator. And so I don't go on there wanting to motivate everybody. I go in there wanting to educate you. And the goal is, if I could save a smile, I could save a life. That is what I do. And that's how I think when I'm on those stages is, I'm going to have my PowerPoint. I may not go through the whole PowerPoint. I'm going to have a QR code because you are going to talk to me later. I am going to have some stress balls because you will walk out of here with something in your hand, knowing that, hey, it has my name on it, or Event Therapy's name on it. And it also has a quote on there. So I give them these things. So for me, I don't have to show up like every other speaker who's out there. I'm not that person. I have a certain personality. Listen, when I'm on the stage, I need you to talk back to me. And I tell them that. I even choose 2 people in the audience ahead of time and say, hey, you might be my go-to person, because I do feel a sense of anxiety sometimes when I go on stage, and I notice about me. So I had to learn that, hey, you are not these other people. You go in there, you do your thing, and you remember what your mission is and what your goal. If you can save a smile, you can save a life. So go in there and do your thing. And that's what I learned. I'm not those other folks.
For me, because I'm in the health and wellness industry, I am huge on self-care, and really a lot champion for self-care for that busy professional, that entrepreneur mom. I shared a story recently, a personal journey, when I just spoke at the Chicago Women's Expo a couple months ago about what I've been going through and the lack thereof. And so one of the things that I learned the hard way is that you cannot build a $1 million vision with a burnout mindset. So I spent years basically grinding nonstop, thinking rest was a luxury that we had to earn instead of a strategy, right? What I discovered is that exhaustion will rob you of your clarity, your creativity, your calling. And so now I protect my energy the same way I protect my business. Because if you don't learn to rest, you will be forced to reset. And that reset is going to cost you way more than that rest will have cost you.
So true, so true. And my next question for you ladies is to share one way that women can elevate their personal brand in 2026 without spending a lot of money. And I'll share a quick tip. So Gemini AI has become my new best friend because, number one, I just love photos. And so I feel like Gemini AI is one of the best platforms to rejuvenate old photos. So instead of having it create new photos, because oftentimes if you have it create a new photo of you based on another photo, you're going to look AI and it's not going to look like you. But if you take a photo that you already have and make certain adjustments, like change your hair or change your clothes, it's going to preserve your actual face so it does look like you, but then add a little razzle dazzle and change the, clothes or change the hair so that you have a brand new picture. So that's one of my tips for ladies that, may not have the resources or the time to book a photo shoot. Get in Gemini AI and use some of your old pictures to change the hair, change the clothes, and you'll have some really nice photos that actually look like you, because we want these photos to look like us. Who's next?
So for me, I would say showing up consistently and strategically, right? Your brand grows when your message is clear. It's easy to find. And in 2026, the biggest flex should not be a big budget. It should be intentional visibility. So simple things, kind of like what you just said, the Gemini AI, sharing your story, showing your process, giving value through educational mini lessons, posting behind the scenes of what you actually do. And so those cost nothing, but it can position you as a real relatable authority, and consistency is still the most powerful brand strategy for me.
Okay. Well, I'll go next. One simple but powerful way is to master your message. When you can communicate who you are, what you do, and the transformation you bring in a clear, memorable way, your brand rises instantly. So update your bio, refine your story, and be intentional about what you share online. Consistency is free, clarity is free, and confidence is free. So when your message aligns with your purpose, doors open without a dollar spent.
Okay, clock that, right? I think, for me, and I definitely love the Gemini Nano Banana. I forget that's what it says, but I did that today with this picture. Lily said, can you send me a picture with white? I was like, I can't get to it. Oh, okay, Gemini can. And so definitely being able to change my outfit and put on a little white jacket or whatever. But that's one thing. I love the being consistent as well. But I will also say, really sit down and look at your business. That is free for you to sit down and look at your business. I am currently on a 30-day marathon, if you will, for my business. And what that means is I am sitting down and I'm looking at every piece of the business to make sure that what do I need to do in 2026? Where do I need to make sure that I'm being consistent, because I'm not being consistent now, or I've lacked in 2025? What are those areas? Know my numbers. These things, it doesn't cost you anything to know your own numbers before you even go to an accountant. So these are some real things that I've been sitting down to do for 2026. Is last year, Lily, you and I talked about taking flight, right? We did a whole vision board about taking flight. In my mind now is, in order for you to take flight, you got to sit down somewhere. And so for me, that's what I've been doing over these last few weeks, is sitting down and looking at my business. So it doesn't cost you anything to know your business. Know your business more than, Facebook does. So that's me.
No, that's really good. That's really good. Really good, Teresa, because oftentimes as ambitious women, we thrive in momentum. So we want to be going. And we have to be willing to sit down and look at our numbers, like you said, to see what's working and what's not. You don't want to be doing things just for the sake of doing things. I know when I first started my business, 12 years ago, I guess, that was a long time ago, and I was a young tender in Atlanta. I just like to do things for the sake of doing things. So, I would speak for free a lot of times. I would volunteer to do things for people that I should be charging for, because I just wanted to be on the scene. I just wanted to be involved. I just wanted to be launching something. I just want to be doing something. But at this big age, it has to make sense. And the only way that we can assure that our business is in a place or position to scale is to sit down somewhere. Right now is a great time because it's December, or if you're catching this later, we're recording this in December, but this is a great time to see what sold well, what did not sell well. If it didn't sell well, I wouldn't even say to remove it, but maybe consult someone on how to improve it, because sometimes we have a great offer, but we're not articulating it well. And Dr. Samantha mentioned mastering your message. So the message could be complicated. I know there's like a trend of, using words in a way that sounds fluffy and fancy, but then it doesn't even connect with your audience, right? And like, I'm a great example of that, because the work that I do here with Glambitious is all about visibility and marketing. And I would try to come up with these fluffy, cute words, but those are not the words that are at the top of mind for my client. My client is thinking about visibility, they're thinking about marketing and how to make more money. Plain and simple. So when we talk about mastering our message, you need to simplify your offers. It doesn't have to be fluffy. It doesn't have to use, all of these illustrious words. And listen, I'm a wordsmith, so I could play that game all day, but does it connect with my audience? Does my ideal prototype client wake up thinking about a fluffy word, or is she thinking about how can I make more money in my business? How can I get some speaking opportunities? How can I get some visibility opportunities? So when you talk about mastering your message, Dr. Samantha, that really resonated, because sometimes we just need to sit down, like Dr. Teresa said. Dr. Teresa, come on, I done prophesied a little PhD on you. Teresa. Prophesied a PhD on you. But like Teresa said, we have to sit down and really look at things to see what's working, what's not working, and how can we improve and add clarity to what we're presenting in the marketplace in 2026. I feel like I went on a rant. Anyone want to add anything?
I just want to say this to Lillie. Everything that you come up with doesn't belong in this season. It may be that you came up with an idea. It doesn't even belong to you. Some ideas don't belong to you. He might download it for you, but it might belong to someone else. So don't think that everything that, if you're creative, like we are all creators, we come up with things all the time. It does not mean that you have to put those things in action. Everything. I have a little blue parking lot booklet that I keep. And I write some of these things here, because if I don't, then I'm out here calling ChatGPT to create a whole plan for it and see what I can do from it. But those ideas are not always meant for you to put them out right now. It might be for 2027. So put it down in your parking lot and then get back to it if you need to get back to it. But you don't have to necessarily do everything right away.
True indeed. True indeed. And my last question, ladies, for you is, what is next for you in 2026? And then how can viewers stay connected or work with you?
I would say for me, so SC Visionary Planning and Production is my event planning company. And so right now for 2025, we definitely have some great opportunities available. You can reach us at hello@scvisionaryservices.com. And our website is scvisionaryservices.com. If you are already in the industry and you are just needing some additional support, we do have with event therapy, we have opportunities for our magazine, but we also have one-on-one services and coaching where we can sit down and really talk about what's going on in your business and how we can ensure that we are bringing some real, true self-care and mindset strategies to the table that you can maintain that joy and satisfaction in your company. So those are the different ways that you can reach me. scvisionaryservices.com is my website, but Event Therapy Network as well. And you can find a magazine and everything else there.
For me, 2026 is my expansion year, both personally and professionally. So I will be growing Sky Rose Rejuvenation Clinic and Spa, expanding the Medical Aesthetics Academy, launching our corporate wellness partnerships, and hosting my very first annual Transformation Aesthetic CEO Summit this summer, 2026 summer, for entrepreneurs who are ready to step into the next level. So be sure to be on the lookout for more information regarding the summit. Viewers can stay connected with us by following us on Instagram at SkyRoseRCS, my LinkedIn at Dr. Shakika Williams, or even visiting my website, www.drshakikawilliams.com, to work with me, train with me, join one of my mentorship programs, or just stay up to date on the information that is to come for this summit that we are planning. And I'm so excited. It's my first one, and I'm just like, oh, this is really happening. But I'm excited for what's ahead, and I'm even more excited to help others rise with me.
Well, Dr. Shakika, we're on the same page, because for me, 2026 is all about expansion as well. I'm growing the Model Speakers Academy, preparing for my Own Your Voice brunch on January 24th, 2026. We're currently looking for sponsors, and I see some amazing ones right here with me. So you can come to Charlotte and brunch with me on January 24th, 2026, continuing to promote my speaking color and book, and my Own Your Voice calendar for 2026, and then building out my Model Missions Incorporated. It's my nonprofit, and I feel in my heart strongly this year that I want to pair what I do with giving back. I think it's very important that we not just, of course, we want to elevate, we want to go to the next level, but I think we should be lifting as we climb. And there are a lot of people who are misfortunate than us, and there may be individuals who want to benefit from our services but can't afford it. So personally, what I'm doing with my brunch this year is that I am asking for sponsors to sponsor at least 10 women and 10 teenagers to attend the brunch, because I want to start planting seeds early with my, having the confidence, speaking, sharing your voice. And public speaking is one of the top fears, we have in the country or in the world, spiders, death, and then there's public speaking. Well, I can't help with two of them, but I can help with the public speaking aspect. So I really want to start doing events throughout the year, but have that piece of community tied in where I'm giving back. And even if I don't reach my goal, even if I can only have 2 women come and I have to pay our 2, young teenage women, then that's what I want to do. I want to have that component in what I do from here on out. And I want to truly, with my Model Missions nonprofit, to impact even more youth through public speaking, personal development, and college readiness. I'm also opening more doors as a media personality and continuing my work in leadership, speaking, and community empowerment. So to stay connected, you can follow me on Instagram at Samantha Deloche, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Modeling Pharmacist, or join the movement with my new website, and it's speakwithdrsam.com. Whether you want to grow your confidence, elevate your voice, or join one of my programs, I'm ready to help you own your voice in 2026.
Fantastic. I'll definitely plan to be at your January 24th brunch. I'm going to put that on my calendar so I could drive on over to Charlotte. I just want to thank you, ladies, all of you, for supporting the Glambitious brand in different ways. Dr. Samantha held me down during Essence Fest this summer. Whew, we had a time. Y'all, I woke up sick as a dog on the day of my event at Essence Festival, and I didn't think I was going to have the strength to host it, to do anything. And Dr. Samantha was like, I got you. If I have to host it, if I have to put the rest of it together, I'm going to do that. By the grace of God, a little prayer, I was able to pull it together. But, shout out to Dr. Samantha. She's actually supported the brand, probably for over a decade. She's been to Atlanta with us, New Orleans. Dr. Shakika, she joined us as a panelist, and she supported the brand in many different ways as well. And of course, Teresa has to hear me talk about it every day. So y'all touch and pray, send a prayer toward Teresa, because she because she has to hear about it every day for the past decade. So bless her heart and her soul. I appreciate all of you, of course, for supporting the platform, supporting me, and showing up to share, inspiration, and just to, be a light by giving some encouragement to the women who are tuned in. Again, if this is your first time tuned in to something on the Glambitious platform, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you join my email list at theglamceo.com, because throughout the year, I send out opportunities to speak virtually or in person, like at Martha's Vineyard. I invite you all to join us next August in Martha's Vineyard, magazine opportunities. And then, of course, if you want to book Chatty Patty Lillie to speak or host, I love coming and sharing my wisdom and my energy on other platforms. So I'm, of course, available for booking as well at theglamceo.com. So normally, I don't do this, but I do feel compelled to pray us out. I don't do that all the time, but I do feel compelled to do it. I'll also say that this 2026 Women to Watch series, it's a panel series. It's going to happen every Sunday here on this channel. So make sure you subscribe. And if you're interested in being a panelist, you can visit theglamceo.com to reserve your panelist slot, but the Lord is leading me to pray out, and that's what I'm going to do. All right. Heavenly Father, I just thank you for this divine appointment, Lord. I thank you for every woman or man who's tuned in, whether live or the replay, Lord. And I pray that you give them a refreshing, Lord. It's been a long, arduous year for many people, Lord, but we ask right now that the next year will be our best year, Lord. We ask that you refresh our minds as it relates to our business. We ask that you give us revelation of our actual value and what we should charge in the marketplace, and that you continue to bring divine connections and alignment to us so that we can reach the destiny that you've called us to. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right. Well, thank you all and have a good night.